I still love my alma mater, Chapman College. Now that they're a university, I'm giving them a rough time because they did their economic forecast update on Thursday. And not that they gave out incorrect information, but the information that they shared was misleading. They talk about the median price of homes going down. And in the next segment, I'm going to explain to you exactly why that's misleading data, and it's something you should ignore from the Chapman University Economic Forecast Update. And later this week, when the media comes out with some of the numbers, ignore them too, because not that they're wrong, but they're giving you information that is not qualified properly. And we've talked about this before on Ron Siegel Radio. I'm going to tell you why it's not qualified properly, and I'm going to explain the whole subject to you. And we may even be able to get a graphic because I forgot to send it to Josh. We might try and get that graphic to you. I do these things to Josh all the time and send it to him late. But here's the issue. They're talking about median home prices. And do you know what median home prices are good for? Absolutely nothing. Even according to the late S.C. Adibi, when I spoke to him, and he was one of Jim Doty's co-conspirators when they created the economic forecast at Chapman College way back when, before they were the fancy university. And I can say that because I was on an early one of the forecast staffs way back then. So here's the issue. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to show you exactly why. Either I'll be able to get the graph to you, which I'm going to send a new version to Josh right now, or we're going to do it through a bird's eye view of why it's misleading. Now, a lot of folks don't understand that issue. You're going to understand it because it's still a great time to buy a house. And as I've shared with you before, you have options. You do not have to have a house. Some people choose a Coleman. It's called a tent. Those of us that want a roof over our head, something with a little more substance, we're going to pick a house. And should you rent or should you buy? We'll talk about that. Should you wait or should you do it now? We'll talk about that. And why wouldn't you want to buy if prices are going to go down, according to Chapman University? And
it is what it is.
The bum information that they have for you. So we're going to watch all of that for you. And we're going to share that with you in the Mortgage Minute today. But let's see what else is going on in the world. Yeah, we're a lot of problems over there in Russia now. Do you see that? Follow that one, the Wagner Group. Yeah, they decided not to go all the way, but maybe the reason they're not going all the way, if you listen and if you study, what happens in Russia when the people perceive their monarch, their dictator, to be weak? Well, the people get rid of them. So the Wagner Group doesn't need to do that. So we're going to watch and see what happens there. But, then maybe our gas prices will go up again. I don't know, because the president doesn't want us to drill for anything here. So we'll be watching that for you. What's going to happen with our inflation? Well, as long as the president doesn't believe that inflation, that spending too much money causes inflation, well, we're going to keep having inflation. And the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, my thinking about
Such
Jerome
an
Powell.
idiot.
Yes.
Such an idiot. Such an
So
idiot.
Jerome Powell,
Idiot.
he doesn't want to, risk anything. So he won't tell the administration, he won't tell the federal government that inflation is caused by too much spending. So instead of doing that, what's he going to do? He's just going to keep on raising rates. Until when? Till the economy breaks. And there's all kinds of evidence that the economy is already breaking, but Mr. Powell,
Such an idiot.
he doesn't
Such
look
an
forward.
idiot.
He only looks backwards. He's looking at what the data says. Well, look at current data, Mr. Powell, and you'll see that jobs are not plentiful any longer. The first-time jobless rates are going up. The largest part of the inflation number, that's housing, is not appreciating the way it was. That's coming back in line. And if Mr. Powell would look at these things, he would realize, but no, he doesn't. He's going to keep on raising interest rates until we have mass unemployment. And you know that recessions always start when the inflation numbers or the employment numbers are at a low. You don't go into a recession when you've got a high unemployment number. Never happens historically. Maybe it'll change, but in the last 40 years, it hasn't been that way. Let's talk about our friends over at Chapman University. So Jim Doty spent a lot of time during the forecast update on Thursday talking about 4 different items in the regression model. I will not bore you with the regression model. I had to do that for 6 months to be on the staff, so I'm not going to put you through it now. But here's the issue. One of the big items in there was median home prices. And I want to explain median home prices and why, while accurate, it's misleading. Let's talk about this right now. And I'm going to give you some real live numbers from a chart that I have right in front of me right now. 2022. Let's just take 5 homes that sold in 2022. Got home number 1, $200,000. Home number 2, $250,000. Home number 3, $300,000. Home number 4, $350,000. And home number 5, $400,000. 5 homes sold. Median means it's the number in the middle. You don't average anything. You just looking, half the homes had to be above, half the homes had to be below. The number in the middle is all that matters. In this case, that number is 300,000. Now, let's say, as happened in 2022, homes appreciated 6%. That means your next door neighbor bought their house in 2021. The end of 2022, they sell it. They got 6% more for that property. Okay, so now we're going into 2023, and we've got that 6% appreciation. Home number 1 was 200,000. Now it's 212,000. Home number 2 was 250,000. Now it's 265. Home number 3 was 300. Now it's 318. Home number 4 was 350. Now it's 371. Home number 5 was 400. Now it's 424. But wait, only 3 homes sold. Home number 1, home number 2, and home number 3. So even though we just told you the pricing on those homes, when home number 1, 2, and 3 sold, now the middle number is that 265,000. Well, that tells us that the median was down 13%. But was that house down 13%? No, it was up 6%. That's the error of using median home prices without qualifying it to educate people on why median means absolutely nothing. So why do they use it? Well, according to the late Essie Adibi, who did help create the economic forecast over at Chapman College, then now Chapman University, along with Jim Doty, it's a meaningless stat, but it's consistent, so we keep on using the meaningless, consistent stat. Just throw that out there for you. So this week, when we get some of the personal consumption expenditures, the Fed's favorite guide for inflation, and you know my thinking about the Fed.
Idiot.
Yes.
Idiot. Such an
So
idiot.
when they come out and they talk about housing and they say, well, it's up 8%, well, that's because they're using old data. It's not up 8%. It's not nowhere close. So that's what's going on. And you're going to hear then you're going to get Diana Olick. And you know about Diana Olick. The next time she gets something right on real estate, it will also be the first time she gets something right on real estate. But she's still on CNBC all the time. So she's going to tell you that the housing sector is slow. Don't buy a house, all that dumb stuff. I guess she likes, she must own stock in Coleman Tents. I don't know. But that's the issue that we're going to hear from her because she gets it wrong every time. Bank deposits. We've talked about this one before with the regional banks. Finally, we're starting to see some money coming into the regional banks or into banking as a whole. So that's good news. Tomorrow, we will get that Case-Shiller FHFA, the new home sales numbers. Case-Shiller and FHFA, they're going to tell you what's really happening with home sales because they're actually looking at these numbers, not median numbers. They're looking at appreciation numbers.